Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Blind Press YouTube and Twitch channels. Here we are on Wednesday, and it's kind of a cloudy day today here. I don't know how it is for everybody else, but here we are. We're gonna hang out, watch some wacky stuff, and some question period. And yeah, it's gonna be kind of an interesting day. Oh, sorry, I'm a little bit yawny this morning, and I'm not entirely sure why. But here we are anyway. Um, just trying to get things going here. Little bit of a schedule change. I will be doing the combat hour over on Twitch and TikTok, and I will be continuing to do the coffee stream on Twitch and YouTube. Also, if you are looking for stuff to watch in your spare time, my channel is very close to monetization eligibility. I just need 3,000 watch hours. So if you would like to take a look at the backlog of stuff on my YouTube channel, please do. Because I'm very close to that threshold. So I would like to be able to apply for the monetization through that. That would be awesome. Let's see, what other things do we have today? It's kind of a like I said, I'm kind of feeling tired and draggy today, even though I've had coffee. Even though I've had coffee, even though I've taken my meds, all that stuff, I'm just like, bleh. And I really don't understand why. But that's just how it is, I guess. And it sucks because I also got a call this morning. I basically called the health team and like laid everything out and played the blind card and everything. And I got a call this morning and they're like, sorry, we have no doctors that are able to take anybody. And it's like, fuck. Because my primary care is an hour away. So obviously I can't get there without driving Ape taking a whole goddamn day off work, the kids taking a whole day off school. Oh my god. And so I was like, and the primary care isn't even in the office. I found out yesterday. She gave, like, that's the thing. She didn't tell the secretary when she had to go on this quote family emergency. She didn't have the secretary send out a message saying, hey, the doctor had to go. I had to find that out by calling and asking for an appointment. Then I found out that her locum is refusing to do phone appointments. I tried to call this morning to basically use the Ontarians with Disabilities Act on them and say, listen, you have to provide me care in a way that I can access it. And right now that's a phone appointment. Like I would, in a perfect world, I would come in for an appointment, but this is not, like, I don't need to come in. I need you to call in a referral for a CT scan and an MRI scan of my lower back. That's all I need you to do. I don't need to come in for that. I need to describe to you what's going on, how long I've been in pain, what we've already done, and you need to just, like, do it. And so, but I couldn't get through. Because the thing with this doctor's office is you can call, it's like playing Russian roulette. You can call and they'll answer the phone, or you can call and spend all day getting a busy signal. And so today apparently is that, and today on Wednesdays, they only answer the phone until noon. After that, they don't answer the phone on Wednesdays. Apparently, they're allergic to answering the phones after noon on Wednesdays. I don't know what it is about Wednesdays, but apparently no phone calls on Wednesday afternoons. So, yeah, I couldn't get through. But yeah, there's nobody taking patients where we're living right now, and it sucks. And they just lost a doctor. He retired. And there's no new doctors to take over. So all the other doctors that are still here had to absorb that doctor's patients. So basically, until another family doctor shows up, we're fucked. Like, I'm almost tempted to just show up at the hospital and be like, hi, I'm in a lot of pain, and I'm not trying to seek drugs or anything. I'm seeking a CT scan and an MRI. And I can't get one through a referral from my doctor because she's not even in the fucking office right now. And so I'm just gonna wander through the triage department, and like that's how tempted I am to like, because this is insane. Like I did some exploring, like just touching my hip while I was walking. And on the right side, it's flush with my, like, spine and whatever. On the left side, there's a huge gap in between my lumbar bones and my hip. And I'm like, it's either my hip is out of place or the ligaments and the bones around where my lumbar region are fucked up. Either way, an x-ray hasn't shown anything. So can we please go for a different scan? That's all I want. That's literally all I want. But apparently that's too much to ask for. I don't know. Sorry, guys. I'm just frustrated this morning. Because all I want is proper health care for myself and my family. That's really all I want, and apparently that's not allowed. So that's just where I'm sitting here, being a little bit frustrated, but I will get over it. So here we go. We're going to switch to our first video. Apparently, we've got some TikTokers who are running a dental scam. I don't know how you do that on TikTok. Apparently, we're going to find out. So here we are. Let's take a look at this.
These TikTokers are running an illegal dentist scam, and the rabbit hole goes pretty deep as there's a lot of them doing this. And the whole thing revolves around veneers, aka getting fake teeth put in.
Oh, that shit. Okay, so it's like cosmetic dentistry.
If you don't know, that's an extremely invasive procedure where a dentist will file down your teeth to basically nubs and then mount your new fake teeth on top of where your old teeth were. So when getting a procedure like this done, one would hope to have a professional dentist doing this.
Yeah, you'd think you would want somebody who knows what they're doing with your teeth to be present while you're having literal bones filed down, and having fake bone-like substances adhered to them. But hey, that's just me, who is not a dentist and is just a YouTuber. So what the fuck do I know?
The only downside of that is veneers, they're not really the cheapest. They're pretty expensive, roughly $1,500 per tooth if you want the porcelain ones. So this is
holy shit! $1,500 a tooth if you just want the fucking porcelain ones. I wonder what the silver or the gold ones look like for cost. And adults are supposed to have 28 teeth in their head minus the wisdom teeth. Okay? So that's what's 1,500 times 28?
1,500 times 28 is 42,000.
$42,000 for porcelain veneers.
This has caused sketchy entrepreneurs to find a way to cut costs to make the service cheaper. And apparently the most popular one is just skipping dentist school and just doing a 2-day TikTok course on how to become a veneer tech. And
okay, let's start a list of jobs that you can't learn off of TikTok. And at the very top, we're gonna put anything to do with medicine, whether it be dentistry or surgery or psychiatry or anything to do with medicine. Let's not learn it off of TikTok, okay? Let's go to school first. All right, I understand that medical school is expensive. Yeah, it's expensive for a reason, because they're teaching you a lot of stuff. And the reason they're teaching you a lot of stuff is because in medicine you are responsible for something called keeping people alive. So, let's not learn anything to do with medicine off of TikTok. Should we? You only have 21 teeth? Most people only get the 12 front teeth. That's still a stupid amount of money. 1,500 times 12 is still a stupid amount of money.
And boom, just like that, you're right off to grinding down people's teeth and making $5,000 a week. What could go wrong? Well, apparently a whole lot. So the people who are doing this are calling themselves veneer techs, and apparently this isn't even a real practice. From what I've gathered, this is like the dentist version of going and getting a BBL done in a motel.
Oh God.
So here,
oh God.
We have the first person by the name of Rel Styles promoting their services.
Rel Styles, yeah, that's reputable. I got my teeth done from Rel Styles, y'all.
By showing a before and after of their customer. Apparently, composite veneers are the cheapest veneers to have done, and if you're going to go through a legit dentist, they probably cost around $950 a tooth. So $1,500, that sounds like an insane bargain, but that's not the only type of content they post on this account.
That's the same song. They use the same song for every fucking video. Oh my God. Oh Jesus. Do I want to know what's in this video?
I don't know about you, but that's a weird thing for your dentist to post on TikTok. That's kind of the post that you would expect from, I don't know, like a crypto trader course guy or a sports betting guy that'll...
Do I want to know what the text was in that post? $18,000? Yeah, that's still a lot of money. Yeah, I want to know what's in this.
Content they post on this account.
Do I want to know what's in this post here? Let's pause it. What is here in the... I'm going to take my hoodie off. What is in this post, I wonder? Sometimes they read it out, but they didn't this time, which kind of sucks. But, oh well. Remember, if you want to get me doing jumping jacks and shit, that's streamlabs.com/blindpress. Make me exercise. I gotta just stop just sitting here. Okay. What is this post? It's a black whale. Hey, Sturlock.
I don't know
This
about
one
you,
was in your
but that's a
recommended?
weird
Oh.
thing for your dentist to post on TikTok. That's kind of the post that you would expect from, I don't know, like a crypto trader course guy or a sports betting guy that'll try to shill you some course to bet only on winners, because that's realistic expectations to sell. And sure enough, they're shilling a veneer tech class. So hey, do you want to risk it all to grind out innocent people's teeth who don't know better to maybe make like $5,000 a week? Because apparently they have a class for you. As the description of the video says, do you want to learn how to do composite veneers? 101 2-day course includes full veneer supply kit, liability waiver certificate of completion, veneer list investment, $5,000.
What the fuck? It's a fucking pyramid scheme too? Investment $5,000 for the veneer, and then you get like a supply kit and a fucking certificate that means nothing? Holy shit!
Deposit $500. Wow, that sounds like an absolute cash grab. I guess just don't mind the alleged felons trying to train potential future alleged felons. Why not? So again, for a small investment of $5,000 in 2 days of classes, you too can permanently alter people's teeth. Awesome. That sounds like a great deal. Absolutely not. That is sarcasm. And as you may expect, dentists are pretty alarmed about this whole thing, because this is some wild negligence, and that is putting it lightly.
Could you imagine being an actual dentist and somebody showing up at your practice with this like abomination attached to their face, and they're like, help me, and you're like, I can't. The only thing I can do is maybe remove these veneers and attach new ones at you know, whatever per tooth properly, which is going to cost you even more.
So here's what a dentist said about this on TikTok.
I am so glad that an attorney has stepped into the picture, because me as a dentist, a lot of people think I'm just hating. Maybe I don't know why I would hate, because I'm the one that has an actual degree. But I think a lot of people don't take what we say seriously, and they're like, well, how is it illegal? Well, he not prepping the teeth. He just putting composite on. It's bigger than that.
Wow.
Dentistry is not just about teeth. A lot of people don't take what we say seriously, and they're like, well, how is it illegal? Well,
there are actually people who are like arguing with dentists and saying this isn't illegal? Holy shit.
He not prepping the teeth. He just putting composite on. It's bigger than that. Dentistry is not just about teeth. I want y'all to know that. It's the study of teeth, but it's about managing patients primarily. The teeth is one part of the puzzle. You have to manage patients who are hypertensive. I had a patient who wanted to come get treatment, blood pressure 200 over 150. Does your veneer technician know how to manage a medical emergency? Right? Do they know how to see decay that may not be like as alarming? And do they care that it's there? Are they just going to throw the composite over it so that you walk out with a white piano key looking smile? These are things you need to consider. On top of the fact that primarily it's illegal if you go watch this video. But, you know, most of the people that go to veneer techs, I don't think they care about the legality behind it. To be completely honest, that's a conversation for another day. But I will continue to profess this fact that a veneer tech, teeth by teeth, all them things are illegal, not real, and honestly very detrimental to your health.
They are.
Until I hang my loops up.
They are. Because you, like, as she said, what if you have somebody that has high blood pressure? And you're grinding away and you accidentally fucking cut them? Or what if there, like she said, there's tooth decay? Or what if they have gum problems? Like, there are so many different things that are involved in teeth, besides just teeth, that these idiots are not aware of.
You know, because I want justice to be served.
So the lawyer that she's mentioning, she made this video.
Y'all, this is just another reminder from an attorney that there is no such thing as a veneer tech in the state of Georgia. There is no such thing. This is illegal. Please don't let this man touch your mouth. I know he looks good. You might be tempted just for that reason. There is no such thing, okay? And what he's doing is illegal. You can check out my prior posts about that. Thanks.
Then, of course, there's more TikTokers selling veneer courses because there's so many of them. And this one has some layers to it.
Do you know what would be terrifying if I'm scrolling, like, I'm just sitting here now that there are actual people trying to teach you how to grind teeth down from TikTok. I'm just sitting here going, when are the how to make prosthetics cheaper gonna show up on TikTok? When is the learn how to make a prosthetic and attach it in X amount of hours class coming? When is that? Like, I'm just sitting here wondering all of these things to myself.
Drinking rosé while learning how to work on people's teeth for only 2 days. This is so bad you would think it's a parody or some wild joke, but
No,
I guess not.
not
Overall,
anymore.
it just sounds like a terrible time for the consumer, but apparently one of these guys hosting the event allegedly scammed one of their patients.
I've been researching this dude right here, Devin, who works for VVS Smiles Atlanta. And I wanted him to do my teeth. I've seen people whose work that he's done. I think he did an amazing job. I wanted my teeth done by this man. So I reached out to him on DMs. So on February 15th.
Yeah, that's how you should always have to approach someone who's going to take care of part of your body in DMs. Yes, in DMs. I'm sorry, but even if I'm getting, if and when I go to get my first tattoo done, do you know how I'm going to be communicating with that person? On the phone, through voice, and in person. Not in DMs. Hey Bishop, hi Ghost Dog. Yeah, I'm not going to be in DMs with somebody who's going to be putting anything around or on my body. I'm sorry.
15th, I booked my appointment, paid my deposit. It was for a Valentine's special that he had where it was $2,000 total. But I paid my deposit and everything.
A Valentine's special, $2,000 total for veneers. Yeah, that's not gonna go wrong.
Let him DM'd him and said, hey, I just want to let you know I paid my deposit. He was like, okay, great. I'll see you next month. Everything was all good. No issues. Here is the reminder email that I got the day before my appointment. Again, I flew from Dallas to Atlanta to get my teeth done by this man.
Why?
So I'm excited. I'm pumped. I'm like, hey, I'm going to go back to Dallas a new female. Whoop-de-whoop.
Whoop-de-whoop. Yes, whoop-de-whoop. I'm gonna go spend $2,000 and expect nothing to go wrong with my teeth.
Very, very excited. So on the day of my appointment, I show up early because I'm not familiar with Atlanta like that. So I show up to make sure I am on time. When I get there, both of the doors to his suite is locked. So I sit in
Why
a
are
chair
people
that's
getting
next to his...
medical advice from TikTok? I don't know, Ghost Dog. I've been wondering that since the day I saw a video of a woman with her like newborn asking TikTok if she should get it vaccinated against childhood illnesses, and I'm like, why are you asking TikTok and not your goddamn doctor about efficacy of vaccines? What the fuck?
His suite. And I'm sending him an Instagram message at the same time. He's sending me a message too. Someone stole my whole effing machine out of my room. I'm going to have to refund you and pay you for your flight.
What? How does that happen?
Somebody
I have to refund
stole
you and
what?
send me a message too. Someone stole my whole effing machine out of my room. I'm going to have to refund you and pay you for your flight.
Somebody stole my machine out of my room. How the fuck do you even have that? How does somebody steal a machine for... Okay.
What? How does that happen? I have never heard that coming from a dentist. Imagine having your dentist appointment canceled because their equipment was stolen? That doesn't happen. But
No, I've had appointments rescheduled because the dentist had training to do, or like for a bit there was construction going on at my dentist's office. I've never had them call me up and be like, yeah, we have to reschedule. Somebody broke in and stole all the scalers. We can't clean your teeth today. What? Like, what the fuck? Who does that? Who steals dental machines?
But it gets so much worse.
And I'm like, hey, I'm up here, the door is locked. Do I need to knock on the door? And this is us mentioning at the same exact time, okay? And I'm like,
Fury!
excuse me? What do you mean your machine was stolen out of your room?
There's a new Fury, if you're interested, there's a new donation. It's for jumping jacks.
You can't do my teeth. I flew all this. What do you mean your machine was stolen out of your room? You can't do my teeth. I flew all this way for my teeth to get done. So at this point, I am very upset. Y'all can pause to read.
Why do they always do that?
Fury Kitten moderator. Afternoon.
Y'all can pause to read.
Ghost Dog 999. Why fly to GA Texas has dentists. This is 1,800.
Why fly to Georgia? Texas has dentists. This isn't 1800. I don't know. I like why not there. I'm sure you could have gotten veneers done in Texas. But no, this was a cool social media veneer tech guy. So of course she had to go to him.
So at this point, I am just livid.
And I hate when people are telling TikTok stories and they have screenshots and they're like, pause to read. I'm like, I can't, asshole. Just read it. Ugh.
Livid. So he was like, I'm going to compensate you for your flight. And I'm like, no, sir, you're going to compensate me for my flight and my hotel and my deposit. That's what you're going to compensate me for, sir. So he said, send me the receipt. I did. My total flight and room was like, I want to say $869. He sent me $850. Okay. You know, he cashed at me the $850. So I'm like, okay, what about my deposit? That's $500. So he says, I'm about to send. At this point, I said, I'm crying. I'm very upset because I'm thinking that you're about to do my teeth. So I'm like, you won't hear from me no more. Just go ahead and, send me my money. He goes on to say he don't need my money and so on and so forth. Well, then where is my deposit?
Right? I don't need your money. Dude, you're the one whose shit was stolen. You're the one who can't perform the, quote, service. And now you're all uppity. I don't need your money. Well, fine, send it back, asshole.
So he sends me this screenshot saying that the deposit is going to be sent back to my card. I have yet to receive the deposit. Have not received anything since. So I reached back out to him to be like, hey, do you know how long it's going to take for my deposit to come back on my card? What's going on? He blocks me.
Oh.
Never offered me an apology. Never said, I'm sorry, my bad. I can reschedule you or nothing. In fact, some lady that was at his suite said that she worked with him before and he was never on time or he would not show up. She would end up having to take his clients. And then she's told me that he only does mixed breeds and light-skinned women's teeth.
Mixed breed? Mixed breed? Did she just say that word?
Or he would not show up. She would end up having to take his clients. And then she's told me that he only does mixed breeds and light-skinned women's teeth.
Please tell me that's a quote, mixed breeds, and that's not the way that this woman views mixed people. Holy shit. Holy shit. Mixed breeds and light-skinned women's teeth.
What? Okay, there's way too many red flags going on here. If someone is saying they don't need their customers' money, they are slow and compensating for something. There's a reason he hasn't refunded that deposit. Also, cash apping for the flight payment, that sounds incredibly sketchy because it kind of makes it seem like he's operating his business out of his own personal bank account.
Because he probably is. And I'm sorry, any dentist that's like, Cash App, bro. I'm like, nah.
Rather than through an actual business. And then obviously that last thing, that is just laughably sad. Morals aside, is also just like stupid because why would you want to limit your customer base? But remember the lawyer we saw earlier? Well, she replied to this as well.
The unlicensed practice of dentistry in the state of Georgia is a crime. So I stumbled upon this lady's story and I was curious, so I started doing a little bit of research. Mind you, I'm an attorney, but I am not licensed in Georgia, and this is outside of my area of practice. But I did find some statutes, so let's read them. So this is from the Georgia Code, which states that things like veneers, so applying any dental appliance cap covering prosthesis or cosmetic covering, cannot be applied unless you are a licensed dentist or you're working under the prescription of a licensed dentist.
Haha. Do your fucking research, people.
Add emotes. Button. Fury Kitten moderator. Good look to the fence or the pawn shop on that one. Button. Fury Kitten moderator. There are a lot of mobile dentists, and I knew one that has mobile kit me twice. Button. Ghost Dog 999. Wi-Fi to GA Texas has dentists. This is
There are a lot of mobile dentists, and I knew one that had his whole kit nicked twice. Good luck to the fence or the pawn shop on that one. That's, you know what? If you're a mobile dentist, I could see that. But a veneer, like a grinding machine for veneers, I don't
Another
think
part
so.
of the Georgia Code, which says that it is a felony for you to practice dentistry without a license. If you are charged with this, you as the defendant have to prove that you were licensed to do the work. And this is another part of the Georgia Code. This is all stuff you can look up yourself. Now, these are the terms and conditions for the guy that did this young lady's, or who took this young lady's money to do the veneers. And he's really popular on Instagram and TikTok for veneers.
Because, you know, that's what you want. You want your dentist to be popular on Instagram and TikTok. That's what you want. You want your doctors, any doctor, whether it be your dentist or your family doctor or your shrink, you want them to be famous on Instagram and TikTok.
And here it says at the bottom, it says that you consent that he is not a licensed dentist, that he is a trained and certified veneer tech. Now, I looked, I did some quick research, and I couldn't find anything in the state of Georgia that recognizes a veneer tech as a actual thing. And by putting in your acuity schedule,
Mixed breeds, is that a jargon term? No, that is a racist
that
term.
you acknowledge that I'm not a dentist. I don't think
that is a racist term to describe people who are black, half white, or half black, half Latin. Like that's nasty.
really goes as far as it needs to in order
That
to protect
mixed
your
breeds
consumers.
comment,
Because
holy
most
shit.
consumers might see tech and they think, oh, they're licensed or whatever. But according to the state of Georgia, it doesn't seem that way.
This will definitely be interesting to follow as we've seen the government start cracking down at the at-home BBL industry. So the veneer tech industry might be next. Someone also commented on that video saying, had mine done in Atlanta, unfortunately now being asked for $23,000 to remove them and redo them by an actual dentist now. Also,
Ooh, 23 grand to have them done properly.
So, flew down there 3 times because they kept breaking. What an absolute nightmare. And there are so many more dentists calling this out right now.
This is the removal of temporary veneers. They're used to check the bite and make sure that the aesthetics of the veneers are good. This is a criminal. This is a fake certificate, and this person is doing at-home veneers, labeling themselves as a veneer tech.
Ooh. So they're using temporary veneers?
Fury Kitten moderator. Mixed breeds. Is that a jargon term? Add emotes.
Like, is that what he's saying? He's saying they're using temporary veneers?
No, I know it seems like veneers are pretty easy. They're just something that goes over the surface of the tooth and it makes it look more aesthetically pleasing. But let's not kid yourself. There is a lot of stuff that can go wrong. You can have bone loss, periodontal disease that can all be undiagnosed if the person is not trained correctly. And let's not even get started about the longevity of these veneers, because veneers are normally very hard to keep for a long period of time. They usually need to be replaced because of how we bite together. Our jaws are extremely powerful.
Yeah.
So if any of these teeth are hitting just a little bit too hard, those veneers will be breaking off in no time.
I have heard of veneers coming off. My ex-stepdad had 2 teeth broken off in a fight. So he had capped veneers to put over his broken teeth. And I remember he was eating something once and he bit wrong, and the cap came off and he had to go to the dentist to get a new cap. Practicing as a dentist is like misrepresenting yourself as a doctor, but you can market yourself as Mr. Toothyologist all you want. You just can't use the term dentistry. Toothyologist, I like that. I'm a toothyologist. I'm a mouth doctor.
Yeah, it's
a mouth specialist.
Too hard, those veneers will be breaking off in no time.
Yeah, it's just a terrible idea to go to anyone like this, but it just keeps getting so much worse.
Oh god, the scary TikTok music.
You can see that those teeth are almost broken down to the gum line. Those teeth are not really salvageable. Again, I'm not a dentist, but being in the medical or being in the dental field at all, I know that those teeth are not salvageable. They need to be pulled, meaning extraction. When you just put something on top of decay, what do you think happens? I haven't really gone into the medical aspect of a lot of this because I'm not a medical provider, but let's get into what can happen. So if you get an infection in your tooth and you don't treat it, you can get a couple of things. An infection in your bloodstream, you can go septic, which is like septic shock, and you will die within like a day or two. You could also get endocarditis, which is inflammation.
It's a heart thing.
Of the heart valve, which isn't really something that I'd want to play with. I don't know about you. It's a medical background, obviously. But some people have to take what's called a pre-med. So before any dental procedures, they take a medication to keep their heart safe to make sure they don't get infection that goes to their heart. I am beyond shocked.
It's clear they're just using the fact that U.S. healthcare is so unaffordable to so many to just prey on those people who don't know better and can't afford better. And
I don't think it's even like that. I don't think it's a response to healthcare being too expensive. I think it's just a I want to make money thing. It's much like the back alley plastic surgeon. I don't think they're doing it because they feel bad that good quality plastic surgery is expensive and they're trying to make it cheaper for the person. I think they see a way to rake in money from gullible, vain people who don't want to spend the money for a good quality surgeon. So they go for these people. Which is rather like dietitian, which is medical, but nutritionist means you have an opinion on food. True.
And the sad reality is this is just going to make things worse for these patients because this is the definition of putting a band-aid over a problem. It's like painting over mold rather than getting rid of it. Shout out to the TikTok user Danny Banani because it seems like she's dedicated her account to calling out businesses like this, as it seems like these businesses just keep on spawning like an evil game of whack-a-mole.
Because they are like they are the pieces in whack-a-mole. They are the moles.
Blow your mind in this season. If you don't even understand now, you gonna understand because he's gonna blow your mind. He's gonna continue to stretch you.
Of the first video. And I said, well, they're using a drill on their teeth. It's not just a composite overlay. Who's their DDS? Who's their DMD? As you can see, I go to their website. I don't seem to see one. So I said, okay, who's the contact? But right now, here's the price. Hold on. About $4,000, a consultation. Okay, so I go to contact. And I said, well, who's your DDS? Who's performing such services? It would seem to be I don't see anybody. The reason you don't see anybody is because there's not a licensed dentist doing any of this to hold accountable or verify credentials.
And because of this, it's the customer that has to deal with the consequences, like this woman who almost lost all of her teeth and had to go to the emergency room.
Oh my God.
I appreciate you for trying to accommodate the situation, but unfortunately, what I just went through, I'm not going to be able to come back. I said I got abscess on the side of my mouth. I have to go to the emergency room to get antibiotics because I got 2 abscess in my mouth. I don't know if it was from your tools, if it was from the partial, if it was from if it was from you not shaving it down. I don't know, but I have to get antibiotic. I got abscess in my mouth, and unfortunately, I don't want you touching my mouth.
What's sad is this is just the tip of the
Wow.
iceberg. There are so many people on TikTok promoting these services, and so many people on TikTok telling about their horrible experience going to a veneer tech. And it's clear that these people are just vultures who don't care about their customer at all. As
No, they don't. And like I said, this is not an altruistic thing about, oh, healthcare is so expensive. I know I'm not trained, but I'm going to do my damnedest to provide quality medical care here. No, this is, I want to make money, and these people are vain enough to have veneers on their teeth for whatever reason. Maybe they need them, maybe they just feel like they don't like their teeth. I don't know. But they will take complete advantage of these people's vanity and gullibility, and this is not an altruistic thing at all.
as her story just gets so much worse.
I said, what can we do about a reimbursement? You almost took my teeth out. I have an infection. I have abscess in my mouth. I have an infection from you. What can we do about this? She said, oh, let me call you back. I'm going to let you know what I could do. Give me a few moments. I said, okay, bet, cool. 12 o'clock today, she texted me and told me she ain't going to be able to give me my money back. She done offered several times for me to come back to her office and get them re-put in.
No.
That's her solution.
No, you caused me an infection. I don't want you to touch my face anymore. Screw you. Give me my money back, bitch.
If I don't want that solution, it's nothing that she could do because I signed the consent. I said, yeah, I signed a consent form for you to do your job. I have an infection in my mouth. You could not drill those teeth out of my mouth. I had to pull them out without them being numb. And I got a text message of you telling me to go to the emergency room.
That is just absolutely horrible. I hope she lawyers up because a consent form offers pretty much zero protection against an illegal business.
Yep.
Never get any medical work done from someone who is not a licensed professional, not a 2-day TikTok course. It's inevitable that people are going to go to jail for this. It's just kind of a matter of when.
So.
But if you want to check out my business that won't leave you without teeth, you can go to matt.city at the top of the description down below and check out our Matt Cities. We took your childhood nostalgia, innovated on the idea, and brought it to a city near you. And we got it in both floor/wall mats, and we also got them in like large mouse pads as well. Currently we have LA, New York City, and the Atozi City, which is behind me, but we have many more to come soon. So if you want another way to support my family and the channel, you can check out the link in the top of the description down below. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.
That is, to me, that is just insane. And as I said, I'm just waiting for the here's how you make cheap prosthetics. You know, like, I'm just waiting for that. I'm just waiting for that craziness to be like, to come around the corner. Here's how you make prosthetic eyes super cheap. Oh God. Oh God.
Take that shit to the suburbs. We need your taxes. Button.
Take that shit to the suburbs. We need your taxes. That's, oh my God. This is insane. I just can't believe that so many people are doing this and so many people are actually falling for it, and like even after all these horror stories are being posted. It's crazy to me. And so many people that are arguing with dentists over how illegal this is and how dangerous it is. It's like, why would you argue with a professional about that? I don't understand. Get rid of your car, become vegan. But give me my cow and horse enamel veneers because I need them. Yup. Facts, Fury Kitten. Facts. Oh, let's check Twitch chat before we switch videos. And if you want to support me and my family, you can go to streamlabs.com/blindpress or sub on Twitch and make me do 10 overhead presses. Or you can make me do 15 jumping jacks. Dinky car mats. Oh. Hey, there's Driving Ape. He's over on Twitch today. Oh. And Driving Ape is making me do squats and side raises and stretching. The side raises are Twitch points and squats are Twitch points. Everything else is streamlabs and subs. Subs are presses, yeah. Holy crap. My flippin' hip. And it's really crazy because every time I crack my hip, it's supposed to feel better once you crack it, right? Nope. Just this wave of pain. It's like, that's not supposed to happen. Oh my god. Okay. Oh, and I added a new points thing last night for Mortal Kombat. It's called All the Cursing.
Fury Kitten moderator. BP just 3D print some eyes or get some of Alibaba would cause goose of the Gorang.
BP just 3D print some eyes or get some off of Alibaba. Oh god. That's terrifying. 3D printed eyes or Alibaba eyes. Oh god. Oh god. So yeah, there's a new redemption on Twitch called All the Cursing. And it's obviously opposite of no cursing. But it's at the request of Spittlebuggies. Alright. Where are we here? Live scene. Here we go. So Rev is going to show us some more drama. And we're going to take a look at it. It's not Stellar Blade drama though, this time. Here we go.
Hey, what's up guys? Rev here. So there's one person on the internet that has a very interesting set of anties, and that is Mori Calliope. Anytime there is something involving any realm of interest she is affiliated with, people bring up her name. She is the definition of rent-free. Anytime there's something going on with rap music, you will see the name Mori Calliope popping up for some reason by some of the most unoriginal people on Twitter.
I have never heard of this woman. I don't know why, but I have never heard of this woman.
Fury Kitten moderator. Can you help drive review button? Fury Kitten moderator. BP just 3D. Fury Kitten moderator. Can you help drive review button? Adding modes button. Can you help drive review?
Now, we see comments like this with a lot of support saying, Mori Calliope dead silent on rap beef right now. And this was posted 2 days ago.
Why
now,
should
this
she
is a
say
reference
something?
to a
Who
very
is she?
popular and ongoing rap beef between some very mainstream rappers.
Kendrick Lamar
How
and
is
Drake,
Mori
yeah.
Calliope getting mentioned in this? Well, there's a whole lot to this story that we're going to get into, but first I have a special announcement. So recently I got partnered on Twitch. Now,
cool.
a lot of you guys are going to look at that and go, oh my god, you stream on Twitch? Yes. I have like 5 to 10 of you show up every stream and say, I had no idea you have a Twitch. Look above my head. It's there every single video. But anyways, I am doing the Partner Plus push, and I'm going for level 2, which just gives me a better revenue share on Twitch, because why would I want to give Twitch
That's what Rips Arena has right now.
any more of my money, and why would you guys want to see your money go to Twitch and not the person you're subscribing to? It makes no sense. So in order to do that, I have to get 300 sub points per
Oh shit,
month
I
for
forgot
3
my
months
squats.
straight. So
I did my stretching, but I forgot my squats and my side raises. I suck. Switch back to solo. We're gonna do the squats first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And now for the side raises. And apparently some security guard got shot outside of Drake's mansion this morning. So that happened. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Whew! All right, now we can get back to the video. There we go.
So May, June, and July for me. And you can see with the paid subs, a tier 1 is 1 point, tier 2 is 2 points, and tier 3 is the most effective with 6 points. So obviously, that is the most effective way towards achieving this 300 goal if you tier 3 sub to my Twitch channel. And to do that, I'm going to incentivize you guys by creating this little program here. So for the next 3 months, if you tier 3 sub to my Twitch channel, you have the opportunity to get some limited time merch that will only be available during this time. You can see the signed print here, secure their spot. So if you want to get on that, I would suggest doing it quickly because this is the first YouTube announcement and it'll probably fill up pretty quickly after this. So make sure you jump in and not miss this opportunity if you're interested. So all the information for this, you can scan the QR code here, or you can check out the pinned comment on this video or the about section on my Twitch. Now returning to today's story. So this comment right here saying Maury Calliope dead silent on rap beef right now. What is that referring to? Well, it's referring to the ongoing beef between Kendrick Lamar and Drake. Now,
like, what do they expect her to do? Talk about it and like do a play-by-play? I don't get it.
Melonhead here weighing in on this issue, and I don't want to hear anything he has to say about this until he addresses this diss track about him that he's been ducking for years. But anyways, I think it's very funny to get people riled up on Twitter by reacting to this stuff because I know a lot of people are mad seeing commentary channels talk about this, so I'll do them one better and do it as a guy with a anime girl VTuber model. So
that's funny. People are mad that commentary channels are talking about rap. You can't talk about rap. You're a commentary channel. Oh my god. Well, if the rappers are doing stupid shit, I'm gonna fucking talk about it. Because I'm a commentary channel.
To give you some context as to what's going on here and how Maury Calliope is getting involved in this, I'll explain what's going on. So you can see the Wikipedia page of this beef between these rappers. It looks like a literal war, and the amount of attention this is getting on social media is quite serious. So you have Drake and Kendrick Lamar. They are beefing. They're very popular rappers, and they've hated each other for a very long time. However, this feud has come to a head recently as they have exchanged dueling diss tracks on one another.
That's just so fucking stupid. The diss track thing, I've never gotten it. Like, the only thing that I ever kind of could get into was, like, the rap battles where he would freestyle. That, to me, is more impressive than a diss track. Because a diss track, you still write, right? You still sit down, you still think about it and write it out and everything. But a rap battle back in the day was like on the spot, freestyle response to what was going on. And that was more impressive to me than this shit.
And as it stands right now, based on the public reaction to these diss tracks, there is a very clear winner, and that is Kendrick Lamar. I don't think it's really close right now, at least in terms of public reaction. You
It
can
might
see
be fucking anti-Canadian because he's from Toronto, but he's shit.
their latest diss tracks. The
He's
Kendrick Lamar
not
one
good.
getting a 1% dislike ratio. Drake's latest one having a 50-50 like-dislike ratio. Obviously, people are picking a side harder than the other here, and it's not too surprising based on the content. You don't have to be a rap aficionado to understand that when Drake makes one of his previous diss tracks and he says something like, "Tee-hee, Kendrick, you're short," and then Kendrick replies in his next diss track saying, "Drake, you're a pedophile and you should be game-ended," you can
Yeah, that's much different. That's much different than you're short.
see why there's a disparity here. And also in the latest diss track, Drake would say, I can't believe he tried this. He said that he is too famous to be a predator.
Oh, Roman Polanski would like a word with you, Drake.
That is how he is denying the allegations being
What
raised.
the fuck?
And of course, we see people making like corny Epstein jokes
Oh
all the
my
time
God.
on Twitter, especially in the anime and VTubing space. But this is one time where Epstein is a great example of this claim he's making and how it's totally wrong. I mean, there's tons of very famous people who are predators. That is a ridiculous claim. And also in the same diss track, he intentionally admits and names several people and says, "I wasn't creepy to this person." It's like, that person wasn't even named in the diss track. You're feeling a little too guilty
Way
about
to
something.
out
And these
yourself
claims
there,
that
Drake.
he's a creep is not something that's surprising because there's tons of evidence out there showing that he has been very strange around underage girls. That's not anything new, and that's something that's really getting a lot more attention now since these diss tracks. So anyways, back to Maury Calliope, ladies and gentlemen. So a lot of people have been making comments like this saying, who's the funniest rapper that could somehow get involved in the Drake-Kendrick beef? And people say Maury Calliope. There's literally hundreds of people saying Maury Calliope.
She's a rapper.
Here's another one saying, responding to Maury being silent on this beef, they say, "The teacher don't talk during the test." And this tweet getting 50,000 likes. And a lot of people who were mad in the replies
I don't
basically
even know
saying,
who
"Don't
this
give Maury
person
Calliope
is."
her best bar in her next song." But yeah. Here's another one saying, "Drake, you're short. When I try to rap, I snort. Kendrick, you're Canadian. I'm epic bacon." Maury Calliope when she inevitably throws herself into the beef to school two amateurs. Yeah, that's definitely going to happen next. But honestly, overall, a lot of the jokes about this are pretty funny. Like, you know, people are just saying how
I feel so lost. I feel so lost right now. This fucking... I feel so... First of all, I feel so white. Isn't Drake on P. Diddy's list as well? I think so. I think he might be. I think you might be right. Yeah, I think you might be right.
ridiculous the situation is. And of course, Maury's, you know, very rent-free in a lot of people's minds, so making a lot of jokes about the situation, pretty fun. So here's another popular response involving this situation with nearly 30,000 likes. This user says, "Drake is a pedo, Kendrick is a wife beater, Ye is a Nazi, J. Cole's ass. Let's face it, at the end of the day, the fate of hip-hop lies in the hands of Maury Calliope." Now, a lot of people in the comments were angry about this, thinking this was a serious post and not a joke. And also, a lot of people were saying, wait, no, friendly fire. Maury Calliope is actually a predator too, based on comments she's made about fictional content. Obviously,
Oh my god, yes. Yes. If you make comments about fictional content, you must be a pedophile.
comparing some serious stuff to some unserious stuff involving Maury Calliope is very weird.
God.
But even weirder is the original poster's response to that, saying, she's a predator. Okay, that just means I have a chance. And you can see the top replies to that is a very weird mixed bag of people. Some normal people saying, whoa, that's an alarming thing to say. And then other people who are celebrating this for some reason and encouraging it. And then some people who are just confused because on the one hand, they want a virtue signal about Maury Calliope in fictional content. And then...
Oh, let's see. I heard a bring. What is the bring? Let's go see. Let's go see our recent events. Duck Dog. Duck Dog is gifting subs. I'm at 4 sets of 10. Okay, let's do 5 sets of 10. Okay, let's do this. 50 overhead presses. Here we go. How many can I do at once? Oh, I gotta do solo cam. There we go. Solo cam. Okay, let's go till I can't go anymore. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, whew, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, oh, I'm gonna have to take a rest, 20, okay, we're gonna do 20 more in a second. Let me just shake out my arms and my shoulders, whew. Tom Hanks and R. Kelly need to up their game. I don't do popular culture. Polanski and Drake references. Not a good sign. No. Not generally. No. Not generally a good thing. Oh, let's do a little bit of arm stretching. Stretch this arm. Stretch this arm. Okay. Let's pick these up and try to do another 20. So that leaves me with just 10. Okay. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I think I might have to do my 20 at the end of the stream. 10. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Now imagine if somebody makes me do jumping jacks, my arms will just fly up and down like crazy. Holy shit. Whew. Oh man. Whew. That's crazy. That is crazy. Okay, I'm gonna quickly do a bathroom break and refill my coffee. So I'm gonna put this to be right back. We have one more video before question period. So hold on, I'm gonna be right back. Put my music on. And then we'll be back. So, if you need to go fill your coffee, then off you go. Stupid music didn't play. Sorry about that. Alright, let's just quickly check Twitch chat. Just gonna shake it off. Alright, let's see if I can do my 20 more. Let me see if I can do my 20 more presses before we get back into our video. Because I've got one more video before QP. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. I fucking did it. I did 50 overhead presses. Oh, oh, oh. Okay. Holy shit. Oh. Whew. Wow. That's some awesomeness. That is some awesomeness. Okay. Whew. We want to see the jumping jacks. Well, that's a $15 donation to Streamlabs. So we need somebody to send in $15 to Streamlabs and I'll do 15 jumping jacks. And now that I've done overhead presses, my arms will like flip-flop everywhere, like whee! Okay. All right. What's our last video? Oh yeah, because it's Whacky Wednesday, I have a video from Disturbing History called The Woman Who Butchered 200 Soldiers. What's it? Wait, the woman who butchered, 200 soldiers. I've never heard of this woman before. And this is from a channel called Disturbing History. And I just found them about a week ago. And they did a compilation of the most terrifying diseases known to history. So here we go.
During the Second World War, many brave individuals joined partisan or resistance movements against Axis occupiers. The subject of today's video is one that you might consider an unlikely leader of a resistance group fighting against Imperial Japanese soldiers in the Philippines.
Oh, so it's not a European, this is in the Pacific Theater. Interesting.
A female schoolteacher by the name of Nieves Fernandez sought to defend her home and her students from the Japanese occupiers, earning herself a fierce reputation. It is perhaps helpful to start with the Japanese invasion of the Philippines. The Philippines were an American commonwealth with a number of American naval bases. Shortly after the attack on Pearl Harbor, Japan launched surprise attacks on American bases. The goal was to limit the reach of the Allied forces by denying them access to the Philippines whilst allowing Japan to expand into Guam and the Dutch East Indies.
Okay. So that's what... See, I was always taught more about the European theater. of war instead of the Pacific Theater of War. I guess in Canada we learn more about that because I think we took part in the Pacific Theater as well, but we didn't take part in it as much as we took part in Europe. So I think that's why in Canadian history classes we learn more about the European theater than we do the Pacific Theater.
The Filipino and American defenders were captured, many forced on the horrific Bataan death marches, where over 10,000 Filipino soldiers were killed. For Nieves, living on the island of Leyte, her life as a schoolteacher would be turned upside down by the Japanese invasion. One of the dangers for civilians was abduction or coercion into becoming a comfort girl for the Japanese military.
Oh, lovely. Just lovely. A comfort girl. Yes, we all know what that means.
Comfort girls was a euphemism. Essentially, women and girls were forced into prostitution and subjected to repeat assaults in army-run brothels. We do have a video on this topic if you wish to look into it further. But many of these comfort women were killed by their captors or shunned by their families.
That's horrible. Like, could you imagine being shunned by your family after being coerced into being a prostitute for a soldier? That has to be absolutely horrifying.
A fate that befell many women and girls. Nieves was chiefly concerned about the fate of her students, particularly with that of her female students. She had witnessed the tortures employed against civilians, including numerous forms of water torture.
Well, my internet just crapped out big time style. It was fun listening to you sound like Morgan Freeman. That's weird. That your internet just cracked out.
One involved the
so
victim
strange.
being placed in scalding hot baths, then placed into some freezing cold bath, alternating until they obtained what they wanted. Water tortures where the victim was filled with water through a hose until their stomachs swelled, only for them to be jumped on. She witnessed how they obtained what they wanted. Water tortures where the victim was filled with water through a hose until their stomachs swelled, only for them to be jumped on.
Oh my Jesus Christ almighty! What the fuck is wrong with Japanese people? I like the Fatal Electrician's version of this story better. It's more energy. Yeah, I do have to say that this guy is a little bit low energy. I have to figure out, like, I didn't but I didn't know about this story at all. So we'll take a listen. Let's see. Oops. That's the wrong. There we go.
She witnessed how the Japanese used such methods not only to extract information, but to also steal from the local population. In the face of the occupation, Nieves took up arms against the Japanese, seeing it as not only a duty to her country, but to the students she served. She opted to start a resistance movement,
Did it not go
killing
through?
and
If it went through, I'll do the jumping jacks. Let me check. Because I don't want to have you send in something and then me not do something. Because that's kind of a dick move. And I don't want to be a dick. Oh! There we go. Jumping jacks time. It did go through, and I must have been away from the keyboard because I didn't hear it. Okay. Solo cam. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Jiggly, jiggly. I'll have to wear a better top next time.
Check next report. 6 pages. Keyboard input button.
Okay.
Horizontal scroll bar. Face green smiling. Keyboard input button. Keyboard.
There we go.
And assassinating Japanese soldiers. Her method of killing would usually be with a bolo knife,
Oh,
a
God.
common tool for clearing dense jungle, and a deadly weapon. She would forego wearing shoes as to walk silently and stalk her prey in the forests. She was known to wear a
Scary
simple
lady.
black dress as if she was prey in the forests. She was known to wear a simple black dress as if she was the embodiment of death itself.
So she just went on this vengeful, like, I'm just gonna sneak around the forest in black, killing every Japanese guy I find.
She would sneak behind the soldier and stab them below the ear.
Ooh.
This would usually be enough to render the victim unconscious, if not dead. In order to ensure of the kill, and to make sure the soldier would not scream out, she would follow the stab with a twist. The other method in which she killed can be seen.
So she would put the knife right here. Right here, and I can feel the fucking vein. I can feel the vein that I'm pushing on. I think that's... What's on the left? Your jugular? I can't remember. Anyway, she would stick the knife right there and twist. Yeah, that'll kill you.
Seen in this photograph on screen now, where she is demonstrating her technique to an American soldier named Andrew. Here
That's
she grabs the
terrifying.
soldier's hair and is about to demonstrate the cut which slices the artery and internal jugular,
It is the jugular, okay.
both of which lead to the brain, and the slashing of which leads to a quick death. She would teach this method to other resistance fighters, eventually leading a band of over 100 men. She
Nice. So this little Filipino lady is teaching these soldiers how to stab these Japanese guys under the ear and leading a band of 100
She
of
became
them.
known as Captain, in large part due to her ability to lead and her capacity for killing. In addition to using bolo knives, the group would build makeshift grenades and shotguns.
Oh God.
The grenades would often be simple explosives in a case filled with nails. The firearms,
Fun.
known as lotongs, would be homemade pipe shotguns that too would fire nails.
Oh, lovely. They were not kidding when they were talking about literal resistance
In
fighters.
addition, Nieves would steal weapons from the Japanese soldiers. She was noted
Well,
for
why not?
being an excellent marksman. During the war, she killed around 200 Japanese soldiers. Her infamy was such that Japanese authorities offered a bounty of 10,000 pesos. This reward would never be claimed. While some did attempt to claim the bounty, she evaded capture and serious injury during the war. The only real harm she encountered was a bullet to the arm and a scar to her forehead.
That's it?
Nieves was
Holy
but
shit.
one of some 250,000 resistance fighters operating in East Asia. Whilst taking the fight to the Japanese, they also provided intelligence to the Allied forces and prepared the way for the eventual Allied recapture.
That's really cool. This is why I often think the Pacific theater of war in World War II is probably a lot more interesting to learn about than the European. And I'm not saying that the European theater didn't have its interesting battles, but this seems really interesting.
All of this was often achieved with little in the way of supplies, save for what they could scavenge and steal. For many of the unknown, uncelebrated resistance fighters, we have little information as to their lives and exploits save for the stories passed down. But for Nieves, there is a single news article detailing her activities during the war. In November of 1944, Nieves gave an interview to the Lewiston Daily Sun newspaper. As part of recounting the progress of the war, her story was published. The few lines of the paper detail her activities. A short story on a page filled with news on the progress of the war. But after this, it is not entirely clear as to her fate. It is not clear how long she lived, whether she continued to teach, or how her experiences of the war impacted her life. She was remembered, and her story was told by her community and family.
No kidding. Could you imagine, that is some heroic stuff. Just being able to come in and take, defend your community like that. Who says there haven't been any strong females before 2016?
It is thought that she may have lived well into her 90s,
wow,
living with her children and grandchildren. This is true for so many stories of individuals throughout history.
Yep.
Individual examples of bravery and remarkable action are so often footnotes to the largest narrative. For Nieves, her story remained oral. As a quick aside, our grandfather would often tell us stories when we were younger, a major influence for our love of history. We assisted him in writing down the stories he was told by his father, who served in the Second World War, as well as his own childhood during the war and his experiences.
Okay, that's cool. That because of his grandfather, this channel basically was born because of his love for history. I like that. That's a cool story.
Such accounts are valuable not only for a family to understand their own history, but for all of us to appreciate our collective history. Nieves was not alone in being a female resistance leader in the Philippines. Another notable.
My earbud just died without any warning. What the fuck? And now VoiceOver is not talking. And now they reconnected. What the fuck just happened? I am so confused.
For example,
okay,
is Remedios Ginto Gomez Paraiso. She was born in 1919 and spent her teenage years competing in beauty pageants and making her own dresses. Her father, Basilio Gomez, was the mayor of Mexico, a municipality of the Pampanga province. Her father organized resistance against the Japanese invaders, but was ultimately captured. He was subjected to torture and then executed. His mutilated body was made into a public spectacle as a warning to others who might wish to take up arms. For Remedios, this only pushed her to fight back against the Japanese. She joined the People's Army against Japan, a communist guerrilla force who attracted many wishing to fight against the Japanese.
So even the communists wanted to fight against Japanese. Interesting. I didn't know that.
At its height, some 9,000 guerrilla fighters were operating.
Wow.
Joining with her brother
9,000.
Oscar, she learned the ways of the guerrilla fighter, where she was noted for her dedication and skills. After only a few months, she was placed in command of her own unit, earning the nickname Commander Liwawe. Noted for wearing striking red lipstick and a formal dress in combat.
Oh, interesting.
She was quoted as saying her reasons for dressing in such a way. The first reason was to present herself as fearless to her men, and the second was, quote, fighting for the right to be herself. Her primary role was the stealing of food, material, and weapons from the Japanese, often engaging them in combat. At one point, her forces rescued a downed American pilot named Bob Tanner, who remained with the group, fighting alongside until he returned to the Americans. The two remained in contact after the war. At the Battle of Comanche, she ignored orders to retreat, instead encouraging the 100 or so men under her command to cause the Japanese to retreat. Such was her infamy that she could liberate villages of Japanese forces by merely arriving with a machine gun.
Jesus Christ! So this woman was so infamous that she just had to show up with a gun, and the Japanese would be like, "Oh God!"
Dressed to the nines. She would issue a warning that her men were nearby, and this would be enough to cause soldiers to retreat.
That's
her
hilarious.
forces played a role alongside the American forces in the liberation of Luzon. Before the end of the war, she reportedly tracked down the Japanese officer who ordered the treatment
and Mount Pinatubo is.
Killing of her father, carrying out the same punishment onto him.
Oh.
Remedios survived the war, went on to marry, and World War II. These individual stories make up the wider narrative of the war, so often overshadowed by the grandeur of other significant figures. These more personal stories of everyday people thrust into the horrors of war speak to us in ways that perhaps are easier for us to understand. It is hard to understand for most what it takes to lead a country into war, but whether one has the bravery to fight against an invading force is a question that these stories naturally invite. Few can honestly say that they would have acted in the same way as these two women.
No, that's true. You cannot with actual honesty sit there and be like, yeah, I would do exactly what those women did. 'Cause there's no way that you can say that. Because you don't know until you're faced with that type of animosity and danger, what you would do. You have no idea. There's absolutely no idea. You don't know any of what you would do. Okay. That was a really cool story. I didn't know any about that. And that's why I want to start watching these videos about the disturbing history, because I want to do more like learning about historical figures and historical stuff that more than I've already learned, right? So I figured that would be something cool to look at. Okay, it's finally time for question period. Let's do this thing.
Oral questions, questions orales.
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Oh, not you again.
Le Conseil municipal.
The Mayor and City Council of Montreal have requested legalization of hard drugs in their communities.
Wait, so they have. The City Council of Montreal has requested the legalization of hard drugs. Why?
Will the Prime Minister openly acknowledge the deadly mistake that legalizing hard drugs was in BC, or is he going to try to repeat this problem in Montreal? The Honourable Prime Minister. Mr. Speaker, BC requested a pilot project and we worked with them.
And it took you until yesterday afternoon to recriminalize. I saw that in the news. I saw that it took, I saw a CPAC video from 4 o'clock yesterday afternoon where they finally recriminalized it.
Agreed to amend the deal with them to better meet their needs. And we will always be there to work respectfully and with respect for science with our partners. But we weren't going to go
I love that. With respect for science. Because as I keep saying, science says enable the addicts.
Any project without the support of the provinces involved, and the Leader of the Opposition knows that full well, but he keeps on his ideological path like Stephen Harper.
Oh my God. Yes, invoke the name of Stephen Harper. Yes, yes. Yes, yes. Invoke the name of Stephen Harper again.
Even though that was rejected as immoral and obsolete. The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Minister believe in the decriminalization of crack in children's parks, meth smoking in hospitals, or other hard drugs on public transit? Yes?
Or no?
Or no?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Holy shit, he's actually in the fucking... Oh my God. He's actually here.
We believe in working with British Columbia and with any province that wants us to work with them on this, which is why we accept.
They actually do want to make addicts. Holy fuck.
Their pilot project on exactly those issues. This is something we will continue to do, to work in the basis of science around compassion and a medical approach, a health approach, not a criminal justice approach.
Dude, you can do all of those things. You can have better health care for addicts. You can have investments in rehab while having heroin and crack and meth illegal.
To dealing with the toxic drug supply and
toxic drug supply
approach to dealing with the toxic drug supply and addictions.
A toxic drug supply and addictions?
Passion and a medical approach, a health approach, not a criminal justice approach to dealing with the toxic drug supply and addictions.
He can't even fucking talk anymore. A toxic drug supply and a Christian addiction.
At the same time, Mr. Speaker, we won't be taking lessons from the Conservatives that continue to chase after a Harper-era policy that their own advisors said was obsolete.
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
It's an important question, Mr. Speaker, because we need to know what he's going to do next. I just gave him a chance to indicate whether he believes people should be allowed to smoke crack in children's soccer fields or meth in the faces of nurses in hospital rooms. He refused to answer, which begs the question of whether or not he will try to impose the same radical and extremist policy elsewhere. So once again, does he believe that people should be allowed to smoke meth or crack in children's soccer fields?
That's a valid question.
Prime Minister.
Speaker, obviously no one in this House does.
Then why is it happening, you piece of shit?
That is why we...
Look, it's all cursing. Why the fuck is it happening, you piece of shit, lying, cock-sucking Prime Minister?
We agreed with the British Columbia government to modify their pilot project to better suit their concerns. At the same time, Mr. Speaker, we've seen the extent to which the Leader of the Opposition will continue to try and use tragedies and ongoing challenges Canadians and vulnerable people are facing to try and score political points.
Dude, he's telling the truth. There are people in soccer fields dropping needles and shit. Like, this isn't political points. This is the shit that you are allowing to happen.
It's the same reason he's...
I'm sorry you don't like to hear about it.
People's fundamental rights and freedoms to score cheap political points. That is not something that Canadians want to see, Mr. Speaker.
Hear, hear.
Mr. Speaker, the Prime Minister legalized the use of hard drugs like meth, crack, and heroin in children's parks and in hospitals, and he won't rule out doing it again. This is not an academic question. The City of Toronto submitted a 153-page application, and I quote, seeking an exemption under Section 56.1 of the Controlled Drugs and Substances Act that would decriminalize personal possession of illicit substances within Toronto's boundaries. The Prime Minister's government has been working secretly with Toronto on that plan ever since. Will he, yes or no, rule out decriminalization in Canada's biggest city?
Here. The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, once again, we see the Leader of the Opposition trying to score cheap political
yes or
points
no, you asshole!
Vulnerable people to promote an ideology that does not work. Mr. Speaker, we will continue to be there with a thoughtful, compassionate public health approach on the toxic drug supply, and that means working with jurisdictions. When Vancouver asked us for an exemption, we said no.
But then when the whole province asked for it, you said yes. And now that they're asking you to reverse it, it took you until after question period yesterday to do so.
Would only work with the province, and that's what we did to work with BC. The same thing when it comes to Ontario or Quebec, we will only work with the provinces to ensure any projects they have go.
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
So he refuses to rule out repeating this disastrous experiment that killed 2,500 British Columbians.
Not to mention the 70 people since then that it killed for each day. Like, it was like 6 people a day for the last 10 days.
Because he strongly supports decriminalization, and if he got a chance, he would do it all over again in Toronto, in Montreal, and anywhere else. Mr. Speaker, the final question, therefore, is even the radical NDP government in BC asked for him to reverse his decriminalization. Why did it take him 10 days and 66 more deaths to do it?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Once again, Mr. Speaker, we see the extent to which the Leader of the Opposition
Holy
will
fuck!
make political attacks on the backs of the most
It's not political attacks! It's a valid question! Why did it take you an extra 66 people on top of 2,500 to fix this shit? That's not a fucking political score points question.
Vulnerable people in this country. We actually
Holy
received
shit.
a completed request from British Columbia Friday last week, and
it took you until today or yesterday to fix
3 days
it.
later, Mr. Speaker. We will always respond quickly in a science-based way when people's lives are on the line.
Oh, fuck
the
off.
Leader of
A
the Opposition
science-based
is continuing
way?
to spread falsehoods, Mr. Speaker, instead of actually following the facts and caring for Canadians.
The Honourable Member for Belleuil-Chambly. Mr. Speaker, the Liberals have a hard time believing their own commitment to the French language.
Oh, here we go.
In their culture.
Because that's what we care about right now, the French language.
Responsible for allowing his members to play such dangerous games with our national language. Will the Prime Minister at least request the member that the member ask the member that will the Prime Minister at least games with our national language? Will the Prime Minister at least request the member that the member step down from the Association of the Francophonie, the Right Honourable Prime Minister?
No.
Mr. Speaker, defending both of our official languages is a fundamental pillar of the Liberal Party of Canada's policy, and we were the first to recognize that the federal government also has a specific responsibility for protecting French, even within Quebec. We will always be there to defend the French language.
Why does a language need defending? I love this terminology. We will be here to defend the French language. It's a language. Why does it need defending? It's not fucking on its way out. There are still millions of people around the world that speak French. And the rest of you, like, are you talking about, maybe you should talk about the Parisianization of French instead of, like, because Parisians have anglicized the fuck out of French.
And to defend language minorities all across the country. I understand that the Bloc keeps trying to pick fights. Sometimes they manage to pick one.
It's the Bloc's fault.
We are going to continue to fight every day for official language minorities.
Yes, it's all the Bloc's
for
fault.
Belleuil-Chambly. The Prime Minister is really unaware of the political cost of his last answer. The member who's the chair of the Francophonie Association should step down and has refused to apologize for what he said. Is, in his opinion, those defending French are extremists, and it shows extreme contempt. Will the Prime Minister call on the member in question to step down from his position? The member for Glengarry Prescott Russell should step down.
Oh,
Right
damn.
Honourable Prime Minister, Mr. Speaker, Canada is a proud partner in the Francophonie, and we show that. Unlike the Bloc, we stand...
When people can't eat and people are dying of drug overdoses and fucking... Holy shit, dude. Holy shit, Bloc Québécois guy. What the fuck?
We're recognizing that the French
Priorities,
needs
guy.
support and protection all across the country.
Priorities.
Yes, sometimes we might get a little excited about it, but we're not trying to pick fights. We're always there to defend minority communities, and we will show leadership all across the world as a proud member of the Francophonie.
All across the world, huh? All around the world. La 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 la. I forgot the lyrics to the song.
The honourable member for New Westminster Burnaby. The Liberals hold things up and the Conservatives block them. Everything's more expensive for people. Thanks to the NDP, free diabetes drugs will help lower costs for millions of people all across the country. It's shameful that the Conservative leader would take that all away from people. The Conservatives want more money in the pockets of Big Pharma.
The Liberal Party pointed out that everybody in the room is the asshole except them. Yep.
In the pockets of Canadians. Will the government work with us to defeat this cruel Conservative attempt to block free diabetes drugs?
This cruel Conservative attempt to keep the poor diabetics alive. Oh my God, the Conservatives hate diabetics so much. They don't want nationalized free insulin because the provinces already have healthcare systems in place. Oh, those bastards.
The Right Honourable Prime Minister. Mr. Speaker, we're very pleased to work with whomever in the House to ensure Canadians no longer have to choose between groceries and medications. Yes, we're moving ahead with free diabetes drugs, but perhaps today we learned why the Conservatives are so fiercely opposed, and that's because their anti-choice leader is allowing anti-choice members to vote against contraceptives and the morning after pill.
A vote against them? They're not voting against their existence, you twat! They're voting against a fucking federalization of dispensing them. Holy shit! Oh my God! They're not... Wow! They're not voting against the fact that they exist. They're not suggesting they be banned. They just don't think it should be federally dispensed for free, which I agree with because that's the province's job.
We need to continue to fight hard against that agenda.
Oh my God.
The honourable member from Winnipeg Centre.
Mr. Speaker, Canadians will not have free diabetes and birth control if it was up to the Conservative leader. And the Liberals...
No, because we have provinces for oh my God.
Reproductive rights are human rights, which includes barrier-free access to birth control.
There are no barriers right now. There's no law. There's no law that says women can't have birth control. They can fucking walk into any pharmacy and buy a Plan B. They can go to a public health unit and get fucking condoms. Their doctors can give them IUDs. Like, what the fuck? Barriers to what?
Unfortunately, this Conservative leader once again is attacking reproductive rights by blocking access to free contraception. Will the Liberals help us stop the Conservative leader and his anti-choice agenda and their efforts to deny free birth?
Moderator, damn, I have dropped so much. I am like 12 minutes behind. Let's see if Wacko and references to shit that happened 15 years ago until the trend, as well as...
Let's see if Wacko and references to 15 years ago are still the trend. As well as prefacing everything with a slur. Probably. The regional health departments handle most of the sex stuff anyway, not even the provinces. No! It's mostly regional or municipal with the reproductive health.
Birth control.
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, we are happy to work with everyone in this House to stand against the Leader of the Opposition's anti-choice.
Yes, stand against. Yes, the anti-choice. The choice of, you know what? If I could choose to have the government spend less money on things that it has no jurisdiction over, I would choose that too.
We saw yet again today.
That's my
one of his
choice.
Anti-choice members putting forward an anti-abortion narrative.
And by the way,
reality is,
isn't
Speaker,
saying anti-choice members a direct attack on the members and not not a question of policy? Isn't saying directly anti-choice members a character attack and therefore unparliamentary? Why is the speaker not calling him out?
we are delivering prescription contraceptives for Canadians right across the country. We'll deliver diabetes medication for Canadians right across the country for free. We're happy to work with the NDP and anyone in this House who wants to stand up for Canadians and for women's rights unequivocally.
Yes, clap.
The honourable member from Thornhill.
If you're under 30 in Canada, it's nothing but doom and gloom according to Bloomberg Nanos. Gen Z's confidence in their pocketbooks is at the same level that it was in the first months of the pandemic. That's a 16-year low. The budget they said was about generational fairness has turned out to be a monumental failure. Instead, young Canadians keep getting higher spending, higher inflation, and higher interest rates, and they get nothing for it. The Prime Minister was voted in by young Canadians. Why won't he admit that he's destroyed their futures, step aside, and let Conservatives fix everything he broke?
Thank you. You've had 9 years. You fucked it all up worse than it was when you got the country. Why won't you just fucking stop?
The Honourable Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Finance.
Mr. Speaker, our budget is about generational fairness and investing in young Canadians, investing in the housing, in the affordability, and the
I swear these people are robots.
But you know what else young Canadians
They're
need?
robots. They just say the
Young
same shit
Canadian
over and over again.
That is control over their bodies. You get that control with free prescription contraceptives. The Conservatives are voting against our
The
budget
keyword is
because
free.
they don't
Everyone
believe
needs to
that a
depend on the
woman, a
government
young
so that
woman
they
should
can take all
control
of
her
your
life
money.
and her body.
Facts.
We won't let them do that.
I'm certain all members would like to hear the question for the member of Thornhill.
Did the Prime
Without
Minister of
interruption, and
Canada
also
just
hear
say
the
that
answers. I'll
crack,
ask all members to please do so.
heroin, and meth
The
are
honourable
fundamental
member from
human
Thornhill.
rights? Yes.
Cherry-picking data, misinformation, and lecturing Canadians, telling them that they're wrong. That is a choice, Mr. Speaker. Millennials are telling this government that they can't pay their rent, that they can't pay for groceries, that they can't get to work. Even the bank governor confirmed that $61 billion in new spending is, quote, not helpful when it comes to bringing down inflation and interest rates.
Oh, but he did say that keeping the debt to GDP ratio below 1% would be helpful. So that means that him saying that other things are not helpful didn't happen, Mr. Speaker.
When will the Deputy Prime Minister stop her inflationary spending so that young people stand a chance in this country?
The Honourable Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Finance.
I really find it interesting to be addressed as the equivalent of Mr. Speaker. If I could just address the people of this country like they are 7-year-olds. Button.
You're so right, Fury.
I notice, Mr. Speaker.
I notice, Mr. Speaker, that I am a piece of shit who lies through my teeth.
The Honourable Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Finance.
I notice, Mr. Speaker, that the Deputy Leader of the Conservative Party did not clarify her own position on a woman's right to choose.
Fuck right off, Christia. No one is touching the right to an abortion. Get fucked.
Canadian women deserve to know. And you know what? They can't trust any of these conservatives to actually tell the truth. Because the governor of the Bank of Canada...
I'm sorry. What are you doing right now? You're deflecting. How is that telling the truth?
Said our budget was helpful because we stuck to our fiscal guardrails. That is what he said, Mr. Speaker, despite conservative attempts to portray it otherwise.
Yeah, he said those things would be helpful. He also said $61 billion in new spending is not helpful. He can say both things. He can say what would be helpful and what is not helpful. That is a thing that can happen.
The honourable member from Charleswood, St. James, Assiniboia, Headingley.
After 9 years of this NDP Liberal government, interest on our national debt is more than we spend on health care. The Prime Minister is spending more money lining the pockets of wealthy bankers and bondholders than making sure Canadians get the health care they need. On Thursday, the bank governor told the Finance Committee that government spending was not helpful in bringing down inflation and interest rates. When will the Prime Minister finally start listening, get spending under control to bring down inflation and interest rates?
Never.
The Honourable Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Finance.
Mr. Speaker, yet again.
Again. I must say again, because I am a journalist who went to J school and I must speak properly, Mr. Speaker. Again, I have noticed that the Conservatives are so very backwards because they don't want to blow money hand over fist.
Mr. Speaker, yet again, just basic disinformation from the Conservatives. What the Governor of the Bank of Canada said to the Finance Committee last week, and I quote, speaking about our budget, I don't expect it is going to have a significant macro impact relative to our previous fiscal forecast. He said that meeting the fiscal guardrails is helpful. And Mr. Speaker, Moody's has reaffirmed our AAA rating. These are not partisans. Our budget is
Christian needs to be throat punched. Her voice is just on the edge of only dogs can hear her. I know.
St. James, Assiniboia, Headingley.
The Prime Minister is just not worth the cost of housing. On Thursday, the bank governor
I hate
also
her
told the
voice.
Finance Committee
I
that
really do.
housing will continue to be unaffordable into the future. After 9 years, the Prime Minister has destroyed the dream of home ownership in this country. Sure, they talk a big game, spending billions, but the results are double trouble. Housing prices, double. Mortgage payments, double. Rents double. Can't they just get out of the way before things double again?
Nope.
The Honourable Minister for Housing, Infrastructure and Communities.
Mr. Speaker, it's
Your fart huffer in chief is still more masculine than Justine.
difficult to accept criticisms from the Conservative Party when it comes to housing, when both their record and their plan demonstrate they have no interest in solving the housing crisis.
The plan where they said let's build a whole bunch more houses that aren't like modular or trailer park.
Is going to help make sure apartments are available at prices that people can actually afford. And if you look at the record of the Conservative leader, while he had the responsibility for the housing portfolio, he got a total of 6 affordable housing units built.
Yeah, because rent was $970 instead of $2,000.
Across the entire
you
country.
Idiot.
The Honourable Member for Bellechasse-les-Échemins-Lévis. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. After 9 years of this Liberal government, Canadians just can't cope. The Governor of the Bank of Canada says this Prime Minister's reckless spending is making it hard to lower interest rates. Canadians are struggling to feed and house themselves, and the Bloc keeps encouraging the Prime Minister to waste their money. When will this Bloc-backed Prime Minister stop impoverishing Canadians with his inflationary policies and devastating spending? The Honourable Minister of Public Services. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm very happy to hear my colleague from Lévis talking about housing. The good news is, or the right answer is, that the Conservatives built a total of 6
Oh my God, here we go with that damn number
all
again.
across the country. The good news is, thanks to our work, is that there are 205
Our work has made it so that we need more affordable housing.
In recent months, that's
Isn't
great
that
news
amazing,
for the
Mr.
member,
Speaker?
but not so good for the Conservative leader as former housing minister. The Honourable Member for Bellechasse-les-Échemins-Lévis. It's disappointing to see how out of touch they are. Quebecers are faced with humiliating choices: food or housing, toilet paper or toothpaste, soap or deodorant. Mr. Speaker, this is 2024. In a country like Canada, Quebecers and Canadians deserve better. The Bloc and the Prime Minister are not worth the
except
cost.
they don't think that we deserve better. They think that we're peasants and that we should just shut up and take our free handouts and just subsist off of that. That's what they think. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do a be right back and refill my coffee. Because we still have... We have a lot of stuff to take care of. We have a lot of... where are we here? What the fuck? Okay. I'm trying to get to my mixer here. Screw it. I'll just do the be right back. I'm going to put music on and I'm going to go refill my coffee. So please bear with me. I shall return in a moment. Okay. We're back. And we're back to question period.
And poverty on them. They're laughing on the other side, Mr. Speaker. It's shameful.
Maybe I'll get a bottle tonight for you.
The Honourable Minister of Fisheries and Oceans. Mr. Speaker, it's incredible to hear my colleague on the other side who can't even support our budget.
Because it's garbage!
Their approach is cut to dental care, cut
not your
to
jurisdiction
help for families and children,
not your jurisdiction,
cuts to seniors,
not your
chop,
jurisdiction,
chop, Mr. Speaker. That's all they know how to do.
Not your jurisdiction.
The honourable member for La Pointe de l'Île. Mr. Speaker, they just can't help themselves. Yesterday in committee, the Liberals showed what they really think about protecting the French language.
Okay, get your priorities
people
straight.
Who are concerned about the
if people can't afford to
Montreal,
eat, do you think they care about protecting the French language?
Who deserve crude insults that don't need repeating here. That's how the Liberals treated witnesses yesterday who were talking about the future of French.
Quebecanese French, Francais is the French as Merriam-Webster U.S. English is to the rest of the world English. Interesting. Maybe if the Liberals would stop trying to spend every single fucking dime we have before we even get it, the Conservatives wouldn't have to cut everything. Oh, there you go, making sense again, honey.
Is that the government's official position, or was the member just saying out loud what many Liberals are secretly thinking? The Honourable Minister of Employment. Mr. Speaker, as my colleague knows full well, French is in decline all across Canada, including in Quebec.
Guess what? Nobody gives a fuck right now.
This is an issue we take very seriously. Our government was the first federal government to recognize the decline
you take
of
it as
French
seriously
all
as the
across
fact
Canada.
that we can't eat right
Mr.
now,
Speaker,
right?
As a proud Franco-Albertan, we are there to promote French all across the country and in Quebec, period. The honourable member
Except
for La Pointe de
Parisian
l'Île.
French is basically Welsh now.
Yesterday's
Yeah, it is.
insults send
Parisian
quite
French
a
is fucking ridiculous. If you're gonna say I'm going shopping in Parisian French, he would say je suis faire du shopping. I am going shopping. Je suis faire de swimming. Je suis faire de library. Je suis faire de reading. Yesterday, the fucking Speaker of the House, l'honorable leader du gouvernement, couldn't even say the French word for leader. It was just leader. It was le week-end. Qu'est-ce que vous faites de la week-end? Instead of qu'est-ce que vous faites au fin de la semaine is what it's supposed to be. And then you're supposed to say je vais faire pratiquer au nager. I am going to practice swimming. That's what it should be. Not je vais faire pratiquer du swimming. Like, God.
Message to Quebecers. To the Liberals, if you're concerned about the future of French in Quebec, you're an extremist.
Have they ever said how they're going to play with, have they ever said how they're going to pay for their made-up bullshit? No.
Concerned about the future of French in Quebec, you're an extremist, and you deserve to be in days. We are there to promote French all across the country and in Quebec, period. The honourable member for La Pointe de l'Île. Yesterday's insults send quite a message to Quebecers. To the Liberals, if you're concerned about the future of French in Quebec, you're an extremist and you deserve to be insulted.
Okay, that was the context I needed. I was like, what? Did he just say, okay, he's not saying that to the member, okay.
But yesterday's discussion was actually about data from StatsCan. They're not extremists, but their numbers are extremely worrying for the future of our national language. So the people who care about French in Quebec are full of just one thing, actually, common sense. What's the Liberals' problem with the future of French in Quebec?
Because they don't care about what makes Canada Canada. And that includes the unique way that French is spoken here.
The Honourable Minister of Foreign Affairs.
What the fuck are you talking about?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. They should stop tearing
Why
up their
are you
shirts
talking
about the future of French, because the Liberal country has been clear for a long time about that. We will stand to protect French in Quebec and all across the country.
Why? You're the foreign affairs minister. Why the fuck are you talking right now?
And not only as a government here in Canada, unlike what the Conservatives might say, we're also doing it internationally.
Hey, Robux, what's going on in the Canadian nut house today? Well, apparently, crack and heroin and meth are a fundamental human right. People in Quebec the Bloc Québécois seem to care more about the French language than Canadians being able to eat. And the Liberals are continuing to be lying sacks of shit.
And we have a Canadian in charge of the Association of the Francophonie, and we're very proud of the member of Glengarry for Glengarry Prescott Russell. We're very proud of his work.
Order.
Here in Canada, unlike what the Conservatives might say, we're also doing it internationally. And we have a Canadian in charge of
God
the,
damn. Melanie
Association
Jolie
of the
is
Francophonie,
pissed.
and we're very proud of the member of Glengarry for Glengarry Prescott Russell. We're very proud of his work.
Order.
Order, please.
Children. Calm down, children. Calm down, children.
The Honourable Member for La Pointe de l'Île. This isn't the first time the Liberals have gone off script. Remember the member for Saint Laurent who claimed Bill 96 would prevent Anglophones from getting health care in Quebec. Or the members from the West Island who threatened to vote against their own official languages reform if it gave French more protection in Quebec. Or the Liberals' pride in all their unilingual English appointments. The same...
Let's see. I thought self-harm was illegal. Isn't that what meth and crack is? Well, apparently the government wants us to be addicts. They've had no one in charge for years, literally.
Languages reformers who appointed a Governor General who still doesn't speak French. Why are the Liberals so hostile toward
Wait, Mary Simon
protecting
doesn't
French?
speak French? Mary Simon doesn't speak French? Holy shit!
The Honourable Minister of Transport. Mr. Speaker, I'm not sure what is the problem with the member opposite, but our colleague is a proud defender of French, not just in Quebec, but all across Canada, whereas the Bloc couldn't give a hoot about that.
I'm sorry. The Bloc is literally wasting house time with the French language debate while Canadians are going hungry. And you're telling me that the Bloc doesn't give a hoot about the French language? No worries.
We have financed the protection of French to the highest level of any government, and the Bloc has financed...
We have financed the protection of French. Yes, you spared no expense, John Hammond. Yes, yes.
The Bloc has consistently voted against it.
Fuck.
They're voting against what we're doing, whereas we have our benches standing up for French all across Canada. The Honourable Member for Lévis-Lotbinière. Mr. Speaker, after 9 years, the Prime Minister and the Bloc aren't worth it. The more the government spends, backed by the Bloc, the more Quebecers struggle. The housing crisis will soon force Canadians to live, through no fault of their own, in their minivans, as a last resort, not as their retirement dream. Mr. Speaker, when will this Prime Minister, backed by the Bloc, with $500 billion in budget appropriations, when will they stop wasting money so Quebecers can once again live with dignity under the roof of a house, not of their minivans?
Never.
Once again, I'd like to encourage all members to remain silent when a member...
That's fucking weird, because I could have sworn that was a requirement for the GG. Yeah! I'm kind of surprised that Mary Simon doesn't speak French. And also, as a Métis, how does she not speak French? Because Métis is a French person and a native person. French native mixed with white. So...
The member's asking a question, and obviously when the answer is given. The Honourable Minister of Innovation. Mr. Speaker, Canadians will not be lectured by the Conservatives.
Holy shit. Holy shit, realty is non-existent.
And their support for extremist groups in Canada. Canadians
What?
are conservative. And Mr. Speaker, Canadians will not be lectured by the Conservatives and their support for extremist groups in Canada. Canadians
I'm sorry.
are a party with no vision, no ambition, and no plan either.
I'm sorry. Which party is the one that still allows the IGRC in Canada? I'm sorry. Which party is that again? IRGC, sorry. Which party is that? Which party just fucking wanted to recognize Palestine as a state? Yeah, the Conservatives are real extremists.
For this country. Here on this side of the House, we know that we need to help families, we need to invest in housing, but you know what? People are...
I thought French and English... Wait, I thought French and English were the national languages. Do they not know if everybody were gone, no one would care? No.
Seeing
they
that
don't
members
care.
Opposite have voted against support for children, for housing, and for investments in Quebec. It's shameful. Here on this side, we will always fight to improve Canadians' quality of living.
Oh, yeah.
The Honourable Member for Lévis-Lotbinière.
The quality of living
Mr.
of
Speaker,
Canadians is
the
super
Liberal government
right
hasn't
now.
built any housing. They've just built more bureaucracy. With $500 billion in centralizing and inflationary spending that created this cost of living crisis and the housing crisis we're currently in, Mr. Speaker, with thousands of Canadians in dire straits, will the Prime Minister see to it that housing is built quickly? When you're at the point where you're sleeping in your van or your car, it's because this Prime Minister is asleep on the job!
What the fuck was that? What the fuck was that, translator?
It's because this Prime Minister is asleep on the job!
What the fuck was that? This is, you're translating, you're not acting. What the What the fuck was that? Oh my god. What the fuck was that?
The Honourable Minister of National Revenue. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. While my colleague practices his performance for Infoman,
this Prime Minister is asleep on the job!
With the fund to help young people save up for their first down payment, 650,000 young people.
Which group brought a war hero who fought for the wrong side in World War II? Shh. You're not allowed to remember that. The overacting, right? Like, what the fuck was that? You're translating. This isn't a movie.
People have signed up for that, and they have saved $2.6 billion that way. The Honourable Member for Beauce. Mr. Speaker, after 9 years of this government, Canada's housing crisis has only gotten worse. The dream of buying a home is dead for an entire generation. Proof that the Bloc and this Prime Minister aren't worth the cost. In Beauce, families lucky enough to have affordable housing still have to go to food banks to feed themselves, a 20% increase in use since the start of 2024. When will this bloc-backed Prime Minister stop wasting money so Quebecers can find decent housing and food? The Honourable Minister of Public Services and Procurement. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. 6 units of affordable housing were built under the Conservative leader's tenure as Minister of Housing. But I'm glad they asked that question because he's a former mayor of a municipality in Quebec, and the Conservative leader has basically called all Quebec municipalities incompetent.
The Honourable Member for Beauce. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Oh, God.
My colleague across the way should come visit Beauce this weekend and explain that to our people. Now, the more this government spends, the more Quebecers are suffering. We're talking about $500 billion in centralizing and inflationary spending that is exacerbating the housing crisis. While Quebecers are trying to survive, the Bloc Québécois has chosen to vote in favor of $500 billion in Liberal budget appropriations. That means they're voting for bureaucracy and for waste. When will this government get out of the way so that Conservatives can fix the budget and build the homes? The Honourable Minister of Housing, Infrastructure and Communities. Mr. Speaker, the Conservative Party...
It's Canada. We welcome anyone and anything. Yep.
Using vulnerable Canadians for their own political purposes.
Oh,
That's not
really?
acceptable. Mr. Speaker, through our
That's
national
what the
housing
Conservatives
strategy,
are doing, huh?
We are creating over 150,000 more units of affordable housing. Now, just
well,
for
the
comparison, Mr.
Conservatives
Speaker,
didn't need that
6
many
units of affordable housing were built from coast to coast.
because back when the Conservatives were in power, rent and mortgage payments were literally half of what they are now.
When the leader of the opposition was Minister of Housing. That was unacceptable. We are investing in building affordable housing in Quebec and elsewhere in Canada. Once again, I ask the member for Portneuf-Jacques-Cartier and the member for Mégantic-L'Érable to please wait to be recognized by the chair before speaking.
During the inquiry, concerns around the participation of busloads of Chinese foreign students and falsified documents for the Don Valley North nomination came to light. The commissioner noted that Chinese foreign interference activities could have made a difference on who was nominated in Don Valley North. The Chinese media reported that the nomination was won by 14 votes. The Prime Minister cannot continue to pretend there is nothing to see here. Based on the damning findings, what
And this is a Chinese person who's saying this. Chinese Canadian.
The Honourable Minister for Public Safety.
Mr. Speaker, I thank our colleague for the question, and far from not taking this matter seriously, our government has done the exact opposite.
Oh, where have you done the exact opposite?
To deal with the very real threat that she identified of the Chinese government seeking to interfere in the democratic process in Canada. All political parties, and not just at the federal level, Mr. Speaker, face this threat. That's why yesterday, for example, we introduced important legislation in this House, and we look forward to working with colleagues to hopefully pass it quickly.
We sure do. Oh my God. I'm Krista Freeland. We sure do hope to fix this. Not really, though. I hope you believe me. You are investing in the housing crisis that was created on your fucking watch and continue to blame the previous administration. But you continue to... Oh, what's the... And continue to blame the previous administration, you fucking disingenuous cunts. Yep.
To working with colleagues to hopefully pass it quickly.
We sure do. Oh my God.
The Honourable Member from Nunavut.
the people in Nunavut pay hundreds of more dollars in shipping fees than the rest of Canada.
Yes, because you live at the literal top of the planet. I'm sorry, but it costs more to get things up there. I don't know what you want.
Amazon charged a Pangnaktuk resident over $700 in shipping fees. This is unacceptable. The Liberals are catering to ultra-rich corporations by allowing this. Nunavut needs a government that fights to take on Amazon's corporate greed. Why is this government okay with Nunavut paying hundreds more in shipping fees to go to basic goods?
Because they have to fly up to the tip of the fucking middle, the tip of civilization. Then they have to take some... Oh my god. Dude. You live in the middle of nowhere. It's not easy to get there.
The Honourable Minister for Northern Affairs.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I thank the member for a very important question. We realize that the price of food is too expensive in Nunavut. That's why we've invested close to $150 million in the Nutrition North program, including $124 million for the Harvester Support Grant, $15 million for the community foods programs. We have $1 billion for the school foods programs.
Yes, because that's what citizens want. They want the government to feed them, not to make it so that they can feed themselves. Holy fuck. The logistics to get to that place is fucking impossible. I was going over the maps for Iqaluit. The logistics to get to that place is fucking impossible. We literally have to develop a small freighter or they need air travel. Dog sleds and ice roads are not feasible. Nope.
Which will benefit Northerners and Nunavut. We are committed
But they won't do that. What they're doing, they're committed to just giving handouts and not making anything sustainable.
With the member and with the Nunavut government to make sure we make progress.
I can't actually come up with a lie. Help.
The Honourable Member for Saint Laurent
made his position clear. If he is Prime Minister, he will pick and choose which rights and freedoms Canadians can have.
No, what the fuck? Where do they come up with this shit?
A slippery slope, Mr. Speaker. With the overturning of Roe v. Wade in the United States...
That's... Gee, why do Americans often think that that what goes on in their country goes on in Canada? Maybe because of fucking assholes like you who have to react to everything that goes on in the States and go, oh my god, we have to do something here, even though we're a completely separate country.
Est-ce que les femmes canadiennes doivent s'inquiéter de savoir...
Do Canadian women need to be worried about...
What they should do is build a giant fuck-off greenhouse and starts growing crops indoors. Yup. Hell, Manitoulin Island is a 6-hour ferry ride, and I will still charge $3,000 to go there. Yeah.
I think they'll be deprived of their right to choose. Can the minister remind this House of our commitment to defending women's rights?
The Honourable Minister for Women and Gender Equality.
Merci.
Oh yeah, because we totally need that department.
Thank you for the question.
Is unwavering, Mr. Speaker. We will always vigorously support a woman's right to choose, her right to have autonomy over her own body. Conservatives say they will use any tools necessary when it comes to a matter of criminal justice. It wasn't long ago that abortion itself was a crime.
Where did any of the current conservatives say that?
We will not go back, Mr. Speaker, even though just this morning a Conservative MP reminded us the future they want for women in this country. On this side of the House...
Like, seriously, where did any of the current Conservative shadow cabinet say that they think abortion is a crime? Where?
His right to choose will never be up for debate.
The honourable member from Kamloops, Thompson, Caribou.
After 9 years, this NDP Liberal Prime Minister is not worth the crime, chaos, cost, or disorder. 66 people died on average while we waited for this Prime Minister to make a decision on BC's request. The government dithered and people died. The government didn't even go as far as it could have in getting rid of its aggressive, radical, and wacko legalization of hard drugs.
Oh, look,
Why
wacko.
did it take this government so long to reverse its course on legalization, and will it promise never to do it again?
The Honourable Government House Leader.
Well, of course, Mr. Speaker, the Prime Minister dealt with that thoroughly earlier in this question period.
Oh,
when we
fuck
amended
off.
Our arrangement with British Columbia.
Where is the
That
Prime
member
Minister
needs to
anyway?
answer a very important question. The Leader of the Opposition has now vowed to have an...
Oh, hold on. And there it is. There, yet America did it. So they're gonna do it here too.
Have an a la carte Charter of Rights where
An a la carte Charter of Rights? Go fuck off.
Will it be tomorrow, Mr. Speaker? Will it be women's reproductive rights? Will it be the right to a fair trial?
I think it will.
Will it be women's reproductive rights? Will it be the right to a
Oh God, Chrystia Freeland, shut up.
fair trial? Will it be the right to freedom of expression?
No, you've already attacked that. You've already attacked the right to freedom of expression, sir. The right to freedom of expression is already under attack.
The Honourable Member from Pitt Meadows, Maple Ridge.
After 9 years, this Liberal NDP Prime Minister is not worth the crime, chaos, drugs, and disorder. Across British Columbia, there's people strung out on drugs, often comatose or dying. The legalization of fentanyl, meth, and crack has led to a tragic wave of death. The Liberals and NDP are panicking as their poll numbers drop. The public is fed up. Deadly hard drugs will still be able to use with today's announcement. When will this Prime Minister stop tinkering and completely end his wacko drug experiment?
The Honourable Minister for Mental... The Honourable President of the Treasury Board.
Wow! The Minister for Mental Health and Addictions can't even talk. It's going to be the President of the Treasury Board? Coward.
I thank the honourable member for the question, but I must remind him that that question was
Fucking
already
coward.
answered. And on this side of the House, what we want to emphasize is that a woman's right to choose and charter rights generally
Holy
are not
shit, we're talking about drug addiction. No, oh my God. Holy fuck. We're talking about fucking hard drugs, not abortion right now, you fucking deflecting asshole.
negotiable. On this side of the House, we will always protect the Charter of Rights and Freedoms. We will always stand up for a woman's right to choose, and we ask everybody in this House to vote in favor of contraception for women so they have autonomy over their own
An
bodies.
a la carte charter. Oh, right, you mean like with the Emergencies Act powers, right?
The Honourable Member from Kelowna Lake Country.
Mr. Speaker, after 9 years, this NDP Liberal Prime Minister is not worth the crime, chaos, drugs, and disorder. The Liberal Minister responsible for the legislation of hard drugs like fentanyl, meth, and crack in British Columbia is still clinging to parts of the Liberals' wacko hard drug legislation experiment. Public open drug use
We can
is
stop saying
rampant in
wacko
our
now.
streets. People are even afraid to take their dogs out to walk around their own neighborhoods. On what day will the Prime Minister completely end his failed radical drug policy?
The Honourable Minister for Mental Health and Addictions.
Let me guess, a woman's right to choose.
Mr. Speaker, let me be clear. Today we said yes to BC's request for an amendment to their pilot project. The pilot program that BC asked the federal government to work with them with compassion, conviction, science, and health expertise, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, give them convictions for doing hard drugs in parks. Yes, you're absolutely correct. You can, oh my God.
BC knows perfectly well, as the advocates and families who are part of this project, that we need to have a public health and public safety approach to this to save lives.
The honourable member from Kelowna Lake Country.
Well, Mr. Speaker, that minister is still supporting hard drug legalization, and here's how it's playing out in our communities. A resident from my community just told me about an incident she witnessed at a local clothing store where a man threatened the two ladies working there, screaming, stomping, and overturning displays. I was on the phone the other day with another resident who works at a street front office, and I could barely hear her due to the screaming just outside her window.
Jesus Christ. People are like all methed out and just like screaming and destroying shit.
And yet this minister
That's fucking terrifying.
Of her wacko legalization policy of fentanyl, meth, and crack. Again, on what day will the Prime Minister completely end this failed drug policy experiment?
Before we continue with the answer from the government health leader, I'm going to ask the honourable member from New Westminster Burnaby please to not comment while members are asking the question. He doesn't have the floor at this time. The honourable government health leader.
Speaker, of course, the Minister and the Prime Minister have dealt with that question. But what is important...
No, they haven't.
The past couple of weeks, a very...
And you know what? Maybe if they did deal with the question, it would stop being asked.
...has refused to disavow, to say it's unwelcome to have the support of white supremacists. Then
Oh
he goes and winks
my
and says,
God.
I the laws and I will decide what rights exist in this country.
Why are you making up quotes? He's literally making up shit as he goes along. You can hear him. You can hear him thinking of what to say. And you can hear him like, quick, I have to deflect. So let me make something up. Holy fuck. Oh, you just found the screaming of the asleep on the job thing?
What rights is he going to take away? What rights does he intend to take away? Is it women's reproductive rights? Is it the right to freedom of expression? Stand up and tell us what rights you take away.
Ah! What rights are you taking away? He yells as his government takes away rights. Holy fuck.
Colleagues, the amount of time that the Speaker has to spend getting up to asking members who don't have the floor to please not take the floor is almost equivalent to a question. I would like members, please, to make sure that we could have our question period move along quickly, that members please refrain from speaking when the members are asking a question.
Radio-Canada CEO Catherine Tate decided to cut 600 jobs.
Blah, blah, blah. Radio-Canada, blah, ugh. Are we just gonna go back and forth to French language shit again? Oh, downtown Kitchener is just insane. Oh, I don't doubt it. I don't know how much more of this fucking bullshit I can take. We've got 17 more minutes. Let me see. Let me just skip ahead a little bit.
Shield, repeat what I've been beside that Stanley, and just like, Mr. Speaker, I do not understand why my Bloc colleague is picking a fight about a topic that we all agree on in this House. All parties in this House agree, except the Conservatives. Everyone in this House, except for the Conservatives, defends a strong Radio-Canada with a strong financial situation.
Oh my God, this is all it's gonna be for the rest of question period. Okay. That's all it's... Okay. Fuck that. Fucking everybody knows that Radio-Canada is part of the CBC. And since when? Back to shitting on Alex Jones. Yep. And since when has Alex Jones been a white supremacist? I don't know. I don't know. But everybody knows that Radio-Canada is part of the CBC. So I don't understand this whole, like, we have to separate the two. No, we don't. Yes, we do. They've always been together. This is just absolute nonsense. I can't even with this. This is just stupid. Ugh. All right, I'm gonna cut it here. Holy shit, we've almost gone 3 hours, you guys. That's crazy. Thank you so much for watching, for the gifted subs and the donations and everything. I'll be back tonight on Twitch and TikTok for the combat hour. So if you don't have TikTok and you want to come watch, come by Twitch around 9:30 p.m. Eastern, and I will be hanging out. We'll be pushing for the demigod rank because we're almost there. So that should take me maybe 2 more streams, and then we can focus more on Smoke Movado. I was getting some pretty good wins with Smoke Movado last night, so that should be fun. And then maybe next season we can take him into ranked. But yes, I hope you guys. And nobody's answering the question because it just got deflected. Yep. Pretty much. So that's going to be it for me for the coffee stream. I'll be back for the combat hour tonight, once again on Twitch and TikTok. So thank you for hanging out with me. Thank you again for the subs and the donations. And we will see you guys later. Have a wonderful rest of your afternoon.